Wilfred Rev Kogo Reverend. I'm a father of 5 children, 2 daughters and 3 sons. They are all adults. I have been a minister for 50 years, but from cradle to now, 78 years.
I'm Lucy Wajiro Chege Reverend. Being married to a minister is a good thing, although there are some of the things which you used to do when you were not married to a minister, or when he was not a minister, because I did not marry when he was a minister. You have different things which you used to do, and you have to just forfeit. You have to stop, because you cannot be a good example to the members of the church, being a minister's wife, and you are behaving in such a way which cannot be told. I had to become, and that's what I am even today, a great prayer, an intercessor for my family, for my husband, for my children, and even for myself. If it was not that, we could not be where we are.
Surely I could not go through without these people. Even when they grew up, they supported us in all ways around us, it is said. And I thank God that He has brought us to where we are, caring for us, seeing our daily needs are met, and wanting to bring a difference to our lives. And that difference they want to create in our lives is to make us different from any other father.
Rev Kogo is Rev Kogo in the church. But when he comes here, he is my husband. He is the father of my children. He is the head of the home. So he cannot escape some duties, saying, I'm the reverend. He is reverend in the church, but here he has to do his enemy. And surely he has been doing.
My father is a strong, intelligent father who is determined to achieve, and who has a way of connecting with a multitude of people of all ages. And due to that, it has helped him in his core work, which is the ministry. And the way we know him on both fronts is that whatever he goes for, he will go and get it, despite the hardships that are involved.
Sometimes I feel like I would just go tell someone that you can't see, we look alike, but what many people don't know about him, he's not patient with mediocrity. He's not mediocre. He will leave you along the way if you're mediocre. If you're cheap, he does not deal with cheap. So if you need to deal with him, go straight and go straight with points. Otherwise, if you're going around, navigating around the way, he lets you drop off. That's one thing about him.
I think the things perhaps many people know about him is he's a go-getter, and once he aims at something, he will get it, and also quite innovative in the way of doing things. He doesn't necessarily follow the traditional route. He's what you can call one man with the courage is a majority.
My father is a very social person. He encourages each and every one of us to invest in the social capital. He's a very jovial person. He's a go-getter. He's very ambitious, and he's very brave. He's a very brave person. Growing up for me,
was interesting. I would say it was interesting. The experiences were, is it far and wide? Because yes, there were good times and there were bad times. Yeah, growing up under my parents, the Reverend and Elder Lucy, it was not easy. He was a Reverend, she was a teacher, so the income was not, I would say, was not enough to help us to enjoy what the children of the day were enjoying. Yeah. So the luxuries were not there. There was no luxury for us.
I was born when he was already ordained, like 1 year down the line. And we are talking about almost 50 years ago. And all I can say it is when you're born, you're shown you're a reverend's daughter. And even in the village or whereabouts, everyone looks at you and expects you to behave differently. So much of it, the childhood, is what is Jennifer doing? They don't expect you to do this. They expect you not to date because you're a reverend's child. They don't expect to see you anywhere out there, you know. So it was different, but I can say the support of my parents was very good. They let us be.
This clergy's son or daughter feels like, am I not supposed to do like these other children of these other people are supposed to do? So there's a lot of peer pressure. So what I would encourage the children and maybe the parents, the clergy of today now, with those young children who are growing up, is to really bring them close. Yeah, because there will be that peer pressure by those young children who are being raised up by the clergy to make them think I'm different or I'm not like the child of so and so. Because my father is a clergy, I'm supposed to be seated and, you know, just reading the Bible and singing praises. No, they need to be children. So bring them close, teach them, let them know the good, the bad, and the ugly.
From stories I hear from my peers whose parents are ministers, there's never a difference between church and home. For others, home is another church, where you, after church, you're going home every day, it's prayer, fasting and things. No. When we are in church, it's church. After church, it's home. Basic. We do prayers, we watch wrestling, vioja mahakamani, we talk and only do basic. The normal evening prayer, that's it. When he's home, he's home. We are eating nyama with bread and everything else and laughing all the way. We are going places, okay, even to the show. Imagine back then, to the showground, yeah. So he never really told us, oh, be in the church. Every time if I'm in the church, I have to be in the youth, I have to be in the choir, I have to be who. He left it open. Apparently, even at one point in my life, I've been in Catholic, and he never said anything about it. He just lets you be. And I think that's what has made me to be who I am, because he let us free. The judgment is harsh, and everyone will see you out there and say, oh, that's Jennifer, Reverend Kogo's daughter. What is she doing with so-and-so's son? You know, but all that I conquered because I also had my focus. Yes, I also had my focus, and I would say the beginning makes everything good in this way. I was told the word of God, and I could go to Sunday school, I could go and confess about everything, and you know, and being taught 1-2 things in Sunday school led to my final life as a young adult and up to now.
My experience growing up was very exciting. Going back, my father, when I started off school, was serving in an area outside our home church. So most of the times I spent with my mother, and she was very diligent in terms of sending us to church school, and also being a school teacher, ensuring that we did all that was required of us, and giving us the Christian values at a very young age. I think because throughout my life I've been raised by a father who is a minister. I've not had any different experience to have to compare with. So it is the only thing that I know, because I think 3 of us in our family, we were born when my father was a clergy. So we've had no other experience. I'm happy with the home front that I am in. Being the eldest, I have worked with my parents in this home, seeing them from who they were to who they are today. It's a life of determination. And I think it is what has shaped most of us how we are today. That you don't have to steal to get your life going. You don't need a lot of wealth to get your life going. And you have to look up to God and trust, then you're able to get what you are looking for. But you have to work hard also. So to me, I'm very comfortable. The gains far outweigh the shortcomings that would come in that kind of a family. Of course, in the beginning, there was that stigma that when you are born in that family, chances are that you'll turn out to be a log on the other side. But that's more of a myth than a fact.
The challenges I saw him going through was we are 5 of us in a family. We are 2 girls and 3 boys. And I want to imagine what the ministers were earning then was not sufficient. So he had challenges in terms of ensuring that all of us are in school at the same time. But he tried the best he could to make sure that we are in school. Even feeding us could also be a challenge because it was difficult. I can say it was difficult raising us up, but he tried his level best. And because he had invested in his social capital, as in he's very social, so he had people who were around him who could hold his hand, and in turn now we were able to move on like the other children. I remember when we were growing up, we used to admire the neighbors who are eating meat every day, the neighbors who are eating bread every day. But that came to pass, and now here we are. By that time it was a little bit of a challenge, but he made sure that we are able to get what he had at that particular time.
Some of the biggest challenges that are encountered here is how to balance. How do you balance the family, the demands of the community, the demands of wanting the good for everybody? I think that was the first one. So you'll find at times then mom has to step in to try and get things going. Ordinarily where dad should be in because he's committed or he may be overcommitted of issues that are coming through. The second one is being a strong character. When you meet him first, misunderstood. And when he's misunderstood, he faced resistance in quite a number of areas. And the resistance was more born into that he'll come fussy-free. But after most of those people have understood and seen how he works, he's developed to be some of the best friends.
All what we used to complain about is that, most people would want to come after church, they want to pass through the Reverend's house. In the evening, they want to pass through the Reverend's house. But my mother was very clear. She was able to, to put a boundary to, in terms of, this is the Reverend who was in church, now he's home, he's the father of my children. So we were able to discuss with him. We could say, Daddy, yeah, we had the time with him, and he had the time with his congregation. So my mother helped us to actually separate the two.
If you look at this home, so many people have been to this home, and in that way they've shown love. So they will know, oh, Jennifer is doing this and that, and they will come to your aid in terms of jobs, in terms of school, in terms of even small things, ungas we are talking about, they would come and bring it. Another thing I would say is you're recognized, especially if it's like now my dad has served the church for very many years, and definitely the network of friends is huge. So I only need to knock a door, even at CAC TV, and say, this is Jennifer, my dad is Rev Kogo, and everyone is like, yeah. So riding on a merit for what Rev Kogo has done has given me some mileage.
Rev Kogo is a hero. He's a hero. He's a people person. He's lovable. He's lovable. He's good. He's good. He's good. When I see him like this, I just get excited. I get happy. Not because that he's a hero. Number one, because he's my father. Sometimes I feel proud. One value he has instilled in me is to love people, you know, to be a loving person. It doesn't matter who this person is, but to love people. He has also instilled hard work. He's very hardworking, and he's also very enthusiastic and very passionate about what he does. So those are some of the values he has instilled in me.
At one time, maybe the gospel was more of nothing happens here, everything happens up in heaven. But there are so many things that good things that we can do here. He has friends he has worked with when ordinarily those are not friends who the church will consider as good companion. But he has worked with them, and in particular, one of them worked with him until the person became also a pastor within the same church. So I think that's out of the ordinary, because you ordinarily are supposed to separate yourself from the people who are not within that realm. So that to me was extraordinary. The second one was the setup of the boy rite of passage and the girl's rite of passage, which the church would have had a problem in reconciling what it's all about. The courage to take it up and drive it to where it was and where it is today, I think I take it to be the key things of practical gospel. I think the most important role is just the role of a wife or a spouse to the, let's say a spouse to the clergy. And I think this is the supporting role ordinarily what a family is supposed to do. Because like put across, a clergy is a human being. A clergy will err. A clergy is not there. I mean that no mistakes can occur. So the only person they can come and converse is the spouse. The only person who can tell them, I think what you said was very good, or what you said was not good, or take a second thought on this one, I think is the spouse. So the spouse plays a very, very pivotal role in terms of supporting the clergy. But besides the spouse, because a clergy is just like anybody else, you need also support systems. You need to have a group of friends who you can relax with, like any other person. You need to have a confidant who can be, you need to have somebody who can go and relieve the church matters that you're not supposed to disclose to any other person. So that support structure for the clergy is required over and above what is defined in a natural family setup. And in that way, then it helps. There are also children who become a problem to the clergy. Where is the clergy supposed to be? Because at that moment, they are the ones who are supporting other people's children. Where are the children supposed to go? So I think these are some of the things that come in. But again, I think the bottom line is that the spouse to the clergy is very critical to ensure that the ministry does not suffer, because the home front has interfered with what the clergy is supposed to do. But again, the clergy must be clear that he must have the balancing act.
I thank God that he's been able to stay in the ministry for over 50 years, since even before I was born, and right now even over 50 years. And what I can say, when you serve God, it's never in vain. Right now he's very, very comfortable. He's very happy. No scandal, nothing. He is aging very gracefully, and he has gone to every corner of this country, keeping the word of God. He's very humorous. That's another thing I forgot. He's very humorous. And I can tell him, God is not going to forsake him, and he knows.
I'm very delighted with the experiences that I've had throughout my life, and with the example that is set for us as a family, and even for me as an individual, and also the care and concern he's shown towards me, my siblings, and also the grandchildren. No, he's a very firm and principled man, and a man who is not afraid to charter his own route, and a man who speaks his mind. I think one of the most critical is his commitment and passion towards my grandchildren. He spends a lot of time for them, he guides them. He has a lot of emphasis on education, which is also very critical and very important in giving children good education and also spiritual nourishment.
what a clergy does is give you another perspective. It is put your life as a reflection of your life. It is put you to reflect on God who, through Jesus Christ, survived on this world and giving you hope. That, I think, is one of the key roles of a clergy. Now, carrying me as either a congregation or as a child, showing me the hope, helping me to be able to maintain myself, manage myself, and ensure that there is continuity, both continuity in self, being able to manage where I'm going, and managing who I am with in terms of, can I be able to have a progression of the family? Can I be able to have kids who also grow in the same way? Can I be able to safeguard the interests of the other people? Can I be able to care for the other people? I think these are the roles that come in through. And winning people for Christ as a key message in driving all this. So to me, I think it's an all-round way of trying to come out here and benchmark yourself as a reader, but a reader with a difference, in that you are reading people to their own comfort, to their own goodness.
It's a lot of work, it's a lot of sacrifice, and I think what they require from us now, the congregation, is a lot of support and prayer, to pray for our ministers, because they go through a lot. They may be going through like what our dads were going through, because maybe the money is still not enough, maybe what they're earning is still not enough. So the challenges of then are still the challenges of now, and yet they have to sacrifice a lot, and times have changed. The 21st century has really, changed everything. So it's to pray for them, to support them, and to stand with them. We need to appreciate and understand that it's not an easy job they're doing. The devil, they are the target of the devil, because their work is to spread the gospel. I know the devil does not like the clergy spreading the gospel. So maybe what I would say is that we pray for them more, we encourage them more, and we also support them, materially, spiritually, and all-rounded. We support them so that they are able to also to spread the gospel, and not to look at them and judge them. We don't judge them harshly, because sometimes we judge them very harshly. And we say, how can this level be driving such a car? How can this one, those kind of things. I think it's just to pray for them and support them.
I would tell families, clergy, first of all, as they bring their families up, right from the time they are children, they should create time for them.
To those who marry their husbands when they are ministers, first of all, they have to adapt the ministry, because they knew this is a minister. And furthermore, when they reach there, they have to ask for guidance, because some might have come from a family which is not very much Christ way. And then, after that, they should be supportive to the ministers. Because if the ministers are not supported, don't be cheated. They cannot do anything. Huh? If he had a headache there in the church, because there is, maybe this group had told the minister this and that, he comes home. He is not very happy. Then you start quarreling him. That home will go. If they marry when they are not ministers, and along the way, the husband or the wife, these days they are spouses, the wife becomes a minister. They need one another to support.
I really appreciate the upcoming clergy, because although I'm challenging them in one way, there are challenges in this country. There is no home of a clergy and a home of a billionaire. A family is a family. And I will tell them to persevere and never enter to a state where there will be a scandal, because there are challenges. Let us pray God and ask God to continue blessing us.
We have this analogy or narrative whereby reverends' children are the worst in the society. They are spoiled, they are drug addicts, they are thieves, they are losers, you know. But when you let your children be, for sure, you'll bring the best out of them.
It's never in vain to do God's work, and every time you step out to do God's work, God will always step in the gap. It doesn't always seem obvious, but our God is not a liar. He'll always keep his promises and his commitment.
The person who is there talking to you on Sunday is a human being just like you. He has kids just like any other member. He is in the same economy that you are in. So when he's not well taken care of, just like any other human being, he'll find himself weak and not able to do the work. So I think to me is, one, to encourage them to continue, and two, to ask even the members and everybody else to work with the clergy. At one time, I think is asking ourselves, when the clergy is down, who does he go to? And like now maybe in our church, who have they provided that you can go to as the go-to person when they are down? And in this case, as you do so, then you are able to uplift them and they're able to support the others.